Are we having a hearing? What are we doing?
Judge, I think we just needed to update you on what you had ordered last time. We had already had our hearing as far as testimony and such went, but you had ordered some drug tests, some visits, some information to be provided, and just really need to update the court on the status of that and then hear your ruling on it.
Okay. Okay. I think Miss Haley just showed up. Yeah, she's okay. Thank you. Miss Haley, you need to go sit up like on a chair or a table or something like that. Or in your wheelchair. Looks like she's on the floor.
No, I'm in a bed. It's a hospital bed. I will grab the remote.
You have what?
I said I'm in my bed, but it's a hospital bed. I'm not on the floor.
Can you prop yourself up?
Yes.
Okay, that's better. Okay, everybody was sworn. Okay, Mr. Sturmer, you may begin.
Judges, my understanding, and I may have missed a thing or two from your ruling last time, but the mother, her boyfriend, and other home members were supposed to take a hair test and a nail test and complete 2 UAs. It's my understanding that nobody has completed any drug tests of any kind since we were here last on January 10th. It is also my understanding that mom was supposed to submit prescription information to the department by January 17th. It's my understanding that that didn't happen either. And you'd also ordered a visit for mom and great grandmother. And I believe that visit was scheduled for Monday of this week, and they did not appear for that. I believe that there was a phone conversation of some sort that may have not lasted very long, but Mr. Lee may be able to provide some more information on that visit.
And the phone visit was with the child. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. 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 Ms. Kay.
Yes, Judge.
Anything you need to add?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Miss San Miguel's not here. Let's see. Mr. Lee, I'm gonna text Miss San Miguel, but Mr. Lee, anything you'd like to add?
No, I've been in contact with Miss Osborne, and she the one that informed me that about the visit on Monday and that mom didn't have a ride and grandma was sick, but they did do a phone visit, and Thalia talked to mom for a little bit, but she wanted to talk to grandma, but I got that from Miss Osborne. She's been keeping me updated on what's going on, and Miss Osborne has met Corey, but I haven't met Corey. I've met Miss Detusha, but I haven't met Corey. That's the boyfriend that's living there.
So did she speak to the grandma or just spoke to mom?
I think she spoke to both of them, but she spoke to mom for a little bit, and she was more active to speak to great grandma.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Mystic, anything you need to add?
Yes, so Ashley has been very much involved, the caseworker, with her, with Estella, in getting pictures to Haley, asking if it's okay to send pictures, which I'm more than happy to forward to Miss Haley. The drug testing, clarifying, making sure that everything's in order. So this wasn't one where they weren't on top of it. Not saying they're not on top of it, but really trying to help everybody get drug tested, and nobody did, Judge. And I understand about the transportation and grandma being sick for the visit, but they did everything you ordered in making sure they were in touch with the mother.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm happy to hear from everybody. Or do I mean, I've heard a lot last time.
Judge, I think what CPS is asking, we're just asking for temporary managing conservatorship, placement to remain as is, order the ICPC on, is it Janelyn Cleverly? Is that the name? And I don't know the state that that's in, but go ahead and order that ICPC and get services ordered for mom and see if we can kind of rehabilitate the relationship between mom and this child.
Ms. Shermer, remind me where placement is now?
Can somebody update the judge on that?
She's in Austin, Your Honor, and she loves the placement very, very much, and she's very, very smart. She is way advanced for a 4-year-old.
Good. Is
very
she,
articulate.
is it foster care, Mr. Lee?
Yes, Your Honor, it's foster care, but she said that she's just there to foster. She's not willing to adopt or anything like that.
Okay.
Foster placement.
Okay. And the folks that are on the ICPC, how are they related?
It's the maternal cousin and her wife.
And do they have a relationship?
Yes, I talked to Thalia, and she said that she has talked to Jonathan before. I don't know how often, but she does know Jonathan.
Okay. Okay. Miss Mystic just sent me a picture. Super cute.
Yeah, this foster family, like Mr. Lee said, but they are excellent with updates, pictures, knowing, what this child, and I believe mom did give that name of the cousin or Janelyn as a resource. I'm not, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she's nodding. So very definitely. But I will continue to send pictures to Miss Haley, and hopefully we can continue visits or get visits going with Haley and her, the grandmother with the child, because she loves her grandmother, great grandmother. I'm not saying she didn't love her mom, but she's very bonded to her great grandmothers.
Okay. Okay. Miss Kay, anything you need to add?
I mean, no, Your Honor, I made the argument last time that the department hasn't met their burden, and I don't believe that they have. I mean, they don't have any evidence to show that my client can't care for this child or that her home is inappropriate. And I think the law requires that her daughter be returned to her at this time.
Okay, thank you. Miss Mystic, Mr. Lee, anything y'all would like to add? No? Okay, let me write this out. Miss Haley, do you have any Native American heritage? Ma'am, do you?
Yes.
What is it?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you. And have you ever been to any kind of a custody court, attorney general court, thing established paternity or anything for Taya?
No.
No, okay. Talk to me about how we know who the dad is, please.
I had only been with that one individual. I was with females before him. And then we were together up until I had her.
Okay.
But a relationship just wasn't something that we really fit for. And
You think pretty much sure he's the father?
yes.
Okay. And Mr. Sturman, he hasn't ever been adjudicated or anything, has he? He's just alleged, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're muted, Mr. Sturman.
So for some reason, I thought we had looked up a prior order the last time we were here, but maybe I was thinking of a different case.
I don't remember.
I usually make notes on that. I don't see any notes, so maybe not.
Okay. Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to name the department as the temporary managing conservator. I'm going to order an ICPC on the maternal cousin as requested. I'm going to say that anyone living with Ms. Haley is to comply with the service plan, just like she is. I'm going to order DNA on the alleged father. I'm going to say that mom is to provide personal effects if she needs any, clothes or tennis shoes or bathing suit or anything like that. She is to provide that as requested by CPS placement and or the attorney or the ad litem. Once mom submits to a hair strand test, she can do weekly visits as arranged by CPS and the ad litem. And also grandma can visit weekly also. Those visits can be together. I don't care, but mom has to complete a hair strand before I'll agree to the visits. Status hearing is 3/6. And Ms. Haley, before that, there'll be a meeting called a family group conference. And at that family group conference, that's where your service plan will be created. And your service plan is something that you have to comply with to get CPS certified and to work towards reunification. I tell everybody at every hearing, you have to comply with the service plan or your parental rights could be subject to termination. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do we need to do a home study on grandma or not?
That's where the child was removed from.
Yeah.
Right. I know, but I mean,
No. No.
Okay. I didn't know.
I don't think so. You're talking about the great grandmother of the child where
Yes.
she was removed? No, ma'am, I don't believe so.
I didn't know if there was
Right.
any inkling that she would be returned there or not.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay. Did somebody want to say something?
I think you had previously said a nail test as well.
That's fine.
So if okay, for mom and folks. Okay, thank you.
But the prior order about nail tests or hair that remains in effect.
Thank you.
Okay, per CPS.
And Judge, the child is in Austin and it's difficult for my client to travel. I would ask if there's going to be a visit that the child be transported here locally for an in-person visit. And I would also request that she can have electronic visits with the child if an in-person visit's going to be an issue every week.
Okay.
And you said those visits start once she tests?
Hair strand or nail.
Thank you.
The in-person visits or can she keep having the electronic visits until
Yeah,
she?
that can happen this week. I'm going to say that the visits locally, I'm going to do every other week. One would have to be like maybe Georgetown or split the difference or something, and one a little bit closer to Coryell County because, I don't want her, she's in pre-K and I don't want her missing pre-K, but missing just tons of school. So, okay.
My client is fully paralyzed, so having her travel to Georgetown is very difficult.
Well, I don't think she's in the house all the time, is she?
Getting around locally and getting several hours away from home when you have significant medical problems are two different things.
Okay, well then I'll change this to 2 hours every other week.
And will they bring the child here to her?
Yes.
Thank you, Judge.
Or Killeen or somewhere, down, not Gatesville, but, somewhere down there.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll review those at the status hearing on 3/6. Okay. Okay. Well, good luck to you, ma'am. And I will see everybody on March 6th. Thank you. Excuse.
I'm sorry, how often are the virtual visits?
Oh, one time a week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. As worked out by placement and y'all. Okay, thank y'all.
Is anyone on?
I'm here.
Hello.
Hey.
Were you on the Francis case by chance?
Yeah. Yes, I was.
Okay. Can you tell me what happened? I missed it. I'm sorry, but I've got the guy that I can't find.
Oh yeah, she
That
granted
last known.
she granted the removal, left the kid in the home, put some orders in about drug testing and visits for my client and the great grandma.
Okay.
And she ordered an ICPC home study.
Okay. Okay. That's what I need to know. Thank you. If you
All right,
see
girl.
the judge or any of them come back, apologize for me.
I will.
I heard someone else, but okay. I'm sorry. I had in-person court in Collin County, and I was driving. She sent me a text court at 1 o'clock, and I didn't even see it. And then I just stopped. So it was when I saw it. So I missed it.
I'll let everybody know.
But I didn't have anything to add anyway, though, because my guy, like I said, is still, not found. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Miss Mystic, do y'all need to visit?
I don't know. I don't think so, unless I think we talked yesterday, Mr. Dennis and I, we've already talked with Miss K.
Oh.
I don't know if Miss K and Mr. Dennis have talked, but I don't know if that would change anything.
Okay, thank you. Last time, a week ago, we had a permanency hearing and we resolved everything as to Madison, I believe. This department was to circulate the ICPC and this hearing was reset for today. So, Mr. Sturmer, you may begin, please.
Judge, we've already stated our recommendation, and that's for the child to be placed with the relative that we have the ICPC home study on. I believe the home study has been circulated. It's very favorable to the paternal grandparents, and that's what we're asking for today.
Okay, Mr. Dennis.
Your Honor, our position hasn't changed. My client, and I can put on testimony if you'd like, my client and Mr.
Felix.
Felix, I'm sorry. My client and Mr. Felix are still actively participating in services, are still visiting with this child when they can. The child is already a significant distance away. It's, in our opinion, in my opinion, unnecessary to move this child out of state now and to continue to deny visits. I mean, unless you're deciding at this moment that you're already going to not give them visits at all. I think this is not something that needs to happen today. It can happen later in time after you make a decision on the final. Why make it harder on parents and make it even harder on them to see their child? We've been having issues with both children throughout this entire case with my client, and this is just going to make it even more difficult. I mean, instead of driving several hours, we're now talking about a plane ticket, you know? So it's just, I just don't think it needs to happen right now. We can wait till the final to have this decision made and moved.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dennis. Ms. Kay?
Yes, Judge, I was able to get with my client about his position on the ICPC placement. He said, of course, his preference would be for his child to remain here so that he can keep visiting. But he does believe his parents will take good care of her, and he doesn't have any concerns about it.
Did he have a good relationship with his parents?
He does.
He does.
It's
okay.
just, it's so far away, he's not gonna get to see her.
Right. Okay. Remind me, I read the home study and I gave it, read it and I gave it back to Angelica yesterday. So I don't have it with me today. So remind me where the grandparents live. Somebody.
The grandparents are in Ohio, Your Honor.
Ohio. Okay. And remind me before I get to the ad items, Isabel's with family now, correct? And tell me that family relationship.
That's Mr. Felix's sister and her husband.
Say,
The grandfather, Felix, is.
so it's great aunt to Isabel, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's Miss Hutchins, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Miss Beatty, Miss Moody, what is y'all's, where are y'all?
I think our recommendations are that we would like to see the ICPC followed through. We've been in great communication. I do think there needs to be a visitation plan.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Miss Mystic?
And Judge, I guess I'd like to just briefly touch base or call Miss Hutchings just to, if the court does decide to leave the child here, we're on an extension, I believe, through May. But my position is to move the child for permanency. I will be straight that I don't think there's a chance of returning the child. I understand Mr. Dennis's argument, though, because of visits, that they would be harder. But I think they could maybe accommodate doing something with the grandparents, because I think they're going to be very good at working with the parents to have access. But I understand the argument about that.
Yeah.
But I just want to confirm with Ms. Hutchins that.
Okay. I think I know we're fussing and fighting over this, but I got to say, I think we're real lucky that for once we have family we have the child with family, and then there's family ICPC too. Usually we don't. Usually we have foster children in foster care, and then we have to move to family. So I mean, we're already in a family setting environment anyway. So that's amazing, right there. So okay, Miss Mystic, go on and call Miss Hutchins, please.
Okay. Hi, Miss Hutchins. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. I mean, you've obviously heard what everybody has said. Are you in support of the child being placed with the grandparents?
Yeah, it's time. I mean, she just needs to have a home that's stable. She's getting attached. She's building relationships. This is that key time. And she just needs to be someplace where it's gonna be stable.
And probably the question's going to be asked of you, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it in the interest of time. We're in January. We have to have a final by May 25th. I don't remember when it's set, but I know we have to be done before May.
Okay.
are you, if the judge says I'm not going to move the child, will you keep her until then?
Yeah, I mean, we would never not. We didn't come this far with her to, to dump her off someplace. But our intention was never to be long-term placement. Our intention was to, take care of her until she had permanent placement someplace.
And I don't want to put you on the spot, but and part of my question relates to how has it been? Or you need to get some water.
I have it. We are just getting over the flu in our house, so it's a hot mess. Yeah.
I understand. Is it working scheduling visits or Miss Davenport working with you? How is that?
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't come to a lot of them. There's been a lot of misses over the last 3 or 4 months. So, she seems to think that, a FaceTime at 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night is gonna fix it, but it just doesn't. I mean, Izzy's in bed between 7 and 7:15. We get up so early in the morning so that I can be to work and she can be to daycare and all the things. So it's,
So it sounds like that let's just say if the court did move the child, it would be beneficial for obviously FaceTime and as much as mom could get up there and dad, but that those FaceTime visits be coordinated when she's not, already
absolutely.
in bed.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the one thing, Dory, I feel like personally, we've taken a year with her and we've done everything. I mean, we have provided for her. We have loved her. It's been really hard to listen to the excuses. I mean, this is your child. And I understand Mr. Dennis's point, but she's not making the effort and she's only 4 hours away. I mean, I don't see there's going to be a change.
Miss Hutchins, hold on. Miss Hutchins, hold on a second. I just clicked that Miss Davenport hadn't showed her face. Miss Davenport, you need to get on the audio. You're in court. Okay. I'm sorry, Miss Hutchins.
No, it's fine.
Go on and say that again because I was trying to interrupt you while you were trying to answer the question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, my point is, Mr. Dennis is saying, we're just making it harder for her to see, but they're not really making the attempt now, so, and they're only 4 hours away. So I just, I don't see that that's really an issue.
Okay. And have they provided monthly for the child?
No.
Like, I know not, they weren't ordered to pay what we call child support, but in kind, like clothes, Christmas gifts, all those type things.
So 6 months or so ago, they were buying groceries periodically. Kara has started with pull-ups this last probably 2 months where she's, provided a shipment of day and night here and there. But outside of that, there's been a couple birthday presents. A lot of what she's gotten doesn't fit. Or it's right at that point where she might wear it once and then it doesn't fit, we've basically provided all of it. She was in 18-month clothing when we got her and she's wearing about a 5T now. So it's been constant. She's a big girl. She's a big girl. She's potty training now. She maybe has an accident a day. We've established that with her. So she's got some good patterns going. And
would you say you've been flexible in trying to accommodate the schedule, even though they are 4 hours away? Have you been, if you don't come on this day, you don't get to see her, or how's that worked as far as visits?
I've pretty much kind of set, and I set it a couple of months out. I've never been provided anybody's schedule. So I've just gone off of my schedule, what my week looks like or what my month looks like. And I try and get a couple of months out. Like she has February visits now. I did try and take into account her visitation with Mr. Naines so that they did not, they're not going to be on the same days. They're opposite weeks. I have tried to do that so that, there's not, I can't come to this visit because I have to be at this visit, that's
okay.
Because that's not fair to her either.
Well, sure. But what you have provided, have you had any complaints from Miss Kara that you're not working with us, you're not providing
No.
dates that we can do?
No.
And is she still not making the visits?
That's correct.
Pass the witness. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions, Ms. Hutchins? No. Ms. Hutchins, does Ms. Davenport have a driver's license to your understanding?
Not to my knowledge. I think from my understanding, it's an Arizona driver's license. I don't know that she has a Texas driver's license, and I don't know that it's current.
Okay. When they would come, during the visits with Isabel, would the parents come together or one come? How would most of those go?
Usually they come together. Every once in a while, Mike's in the field and she'll come by herself. I think that's maybe happened once. I think we have a visitation this Saturday and I think he's in the field. So she'll come by. She's supposed to come by herself. That is my understanding.
But driver's license or no driver's license, she is driving down there. She's not having to deal with other type of transportation.
Correct. That's correct.
When this is like a twofold question.
Okay.
When the visits are missed by Miss Davenport, what are the reasons?
Usually it's illness. The last couple of times it's been, she doesn't have the money. It's too expensive for her to come.
Does she work?
Not that I'm aware of. No, I think she lost her job back in September.
Okay.
And Judge, that was something we talked about last time. She has been in and out of work with a couple of minor jobs since she lost her job.
Okay, I don't remember. Okay, thank you, Mr. Dennis. Ms. Hutchins, when Mr. Felix doesn't come, what are the reasons?
Usually it's because he's in the field. There was one time it was because they were both sick.
Okay.
And I did FaceTime. I did allow a FaceTime at that point.
Well, are you FaceTiming now?
If she calls and says I want to FaceTime and it's a reasonable hour and it's not bedtime, within 24 hours, I like to have a 24-hour notice. We do try to accommodate, but a lot of times she'll set it up and then she doesn't make it.
Okay. What about Felix? Does he FaceTime?
They FaceTime together.
Okay. Okay. You're kin to Mr. Felix, correct?
Yes, I'm his aunt.
Okay. Do you know if he has any children?
He does not have any other children. This is the only one.
And help me here. I kind of don't. Trying to think. Have all the visits been you live in Galveston, right?
I live in Friendswood, but it's close to Galveston.
Yeah, I'm from Houston. I know where I got
it. Okay.
But I knew you were down there. Have all the visits been down in Friendswood area?
Yes.
You haven't had to get Isabel and come meet halfway or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Now, you said she's in daycare, right?
She is in daycare, yes.
And she does well there?
She does extremely well there. To watch the transformation it's been pretty incredible.
Okay. What type of contact has she been having since she's been placed with you with the grandparents?
We FaceTime once a week, sometimes twice a week. They call pretty frequently. There's sometimes that she'll call just for me and Izzy will hear her voice and be like, it's my Grammy. So, she's very, she does have a relationship with them.
Well, what does she call her grandparents?
Grammy and Gramps.
Okay. And you said you've never intended to be long-term, correct?
I never intended to be long-term. No, ma'am.
Okay. And this is kind of putting words in your mouth, but just tell me if I'm wrong. Were you the placement pending the ICPC home study, basically?
Yes.
Is there any other family in Texas that you're aware of?
My kids are all here. And then my sister's daughter is here. But not that would be able to take her, I don't think.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions, Ms. Hutchins? Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure.
Ms. Mystic, do you have any other witnesses?
Tammy Felix.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Felix, you were sworn. You need to unmute yourself, please.
Hi, Tammy. Are you Grammy?
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I'm Grammy too. You live in Ohio, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And you live in the home with your husband, and I know everybody's read the ICPC.
Yes.
Okay. And you are obviously here requesting that Izzy come and live with you and your husband.
Yes.
and really the sole purpose I called you is, are you willing to accommodate FaceTime visits? I'll start with electronic communication for Kara and your son.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you have a relationship with Kara? I mean, do y'all get along okay?
We haven't talked in quite some time. I tried really hard in the very beginning before anything happened prior to last November, a year ago November. But not really since then, but it is not our intention and never would be our intention, because it's not in Isabel's best interest to not let her know who her mother or father is. That is just not something that we, believe is in her best interest. But I mean, we have texted a little bit here and there, but not a whole lot. I haven't really talked to even my son a ton. Just, I know he's very busy and he's in the field, and I just try to, with everything going on, it's stressful and there's just a lot. So I just try to let them be and not, cause any ruffles or anything.
But if the judge decided today, yes, Izzy can go, and the judge says, I want this many visits this week, FaceTime, things like that, you're telling this judge and everyone here, you would accommodate and do that.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
Just within reason, obviously, of time. We are
Sure.
an hour ahead, so that would, we would always need to remember that.
Sure.
So it may be 7 o'clock there, but 8 o'clock here. So she may be well into that already, but absolutely.
Earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as them traveling to visit, sometimes the court has ordered in this case that they provide things, what we call in kind. If the judge took that away, where they didn't have to provide anything right now, and any funds they get, if they can travel, he usually has leave, or if they're able to travel, you all could, would you be able to work something out, you believe, with your son and Kara?
Doing visits, you mean, or
for them to come visit Izzy?
Yes, absolutely.
Is there family in the area where, and I'm just talking between now and May, because we don't know what's going to happen after May, okay? Because we're going to have another hearing. But if they were able to get up there and they couldn't stay in a hotel, but they can't stay with you, is there family that would let them stay with them so that they could still visit Izzy, but not be staying under your roof if Izzy was there?
We do not have immediate family in Ohio. The only reason that we moved here was for my husband's employment.
Okay.
We do have friends that are all very supportive and aware of the situation. It might be something that we could work out with them. That is not something that I've talked to anybody about, but it's not something that I would be opposed to looking into.
Okay. I understand. All right. And obviously in the ICPC, you all are financially able to care for Izzy and provide for all her needs. Okay. And you'd be willing, to have pictures in her room of her mom and dad. And as we talked about, making sure that electronic communication, as long as it doesn't interfere with bedtime, work out for them to have that contact.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. But pass the witness.
Thank you. Excuse me. Anybody have any questions, Ms. Felix? No. Of course, y'all know I do. Ms. Felix, are you, dismissal date in this case is May 25th. Are y'all in it until May 25th, or y'all in it for longer than that if need be?
With us, to keep her until May 25th? Oh, we would keep her for as long as we absolutely need to.
Till she's 18 years old?
If that's what it takes. Absolutely.
Okay. Did all that fun teenage stuff, right?
Right.
Got it. Ms. Felix, would you be willing to keep if Isabel does go up there, would you be willing to keep a log of times that the parents call, who calls, how long the phone calls last, stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay. And I know Mr. Felix is your son, but you would be willing to, if he didn't call, you'd be willing to write that down too, correct?
I absolutely would. I've already said that I am not going to babysit this for him. I'm not going to make those calls and give him those reminders. It's his responsibility to do that. If Izzy were asking for him or for her mom, I would obviously reach out to them first. But if it's their time to call for their visit, then I would definitely leave that up to them.
Tell me how many times, if any, you and your husband have been around Isabel in person.
We have, got to think about this for a minute. So we were just there this past September for her birthday. I was there back in February, about a week after Isabel went to Dana and Troy's to Miss Hutchings. I was there for about 4 or 5 days, I think. And then we were there for 4 or 5 days in September. Prior to that, we were down there again the September before that. We actually went with the Hutchings. We flew into their place, drove over. Mike was deployed at the time. Mr. Felix was deployed. We went to visit Kara and all of her girls for Isabel's birthday then. And then prior to that, I think our first visit was New Year's Eve, right after she was born. That was our first meeting. So I guess I've been there 4 times. My husband's been there 3 times. And that's just as often as we've been able to work it out with schedules.
Right. But y'all have kept a relationship with her via FaceTime?
Oh, yes, we do. We FaceTime all the time. I mean, as for as long as what Izzy will take us, because, that attention span is only this long. So,
right. Where do y'all's other children and grandchildren live?
They live in Michigan, and we do travel up there for certain events and sometimes just for visits. At least once every couple of months, we try to go for a long weekend up there. We were actually just up there last weekend watching one of our other grandkids, who's actually just 2 months younger than Izzy. We have 2 kids and 3 other grandkids there.
Okay. Miss Mystic asked you about this a little bit when she was talking about, if y'all have any other family that live in y'all's general area. Mm-hmm. Would you, if Izzy is up there with y'all, would y'all be willing to supervise the parents on their visitation?
Yes.
Or not supervise, but just be around for pickup, return, however that would work, right?
Whatever is, required.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if I don't know how it looks when she gets here, if she comes here, if that would still be a supervised situation or unsupervised, how that would be. But whatever, we need to do, we would absolutely be willing to.
Okay. What has been your thoughts about how long Izzy would be with Miss Hutchins?
We never thought it would be a year later. I mean, there's nothing negative that I can say about the time that she has spent there. I mean, like you said, how often do you get when, you got family that's there? And, that just, I think the luck of the draw that he just happened to be stationed in Texas. Previous to that, he was in Georgia. There wouldn't have been anybody there. So, it was just the luck of the draw on our part, or God's hands playing a part in it, whatever it was. But, I just really never thought it would be this long. We've always stayed in great communication with Dana and Troy, that it would not be a long-term situation. It was never our intention to fight for her, to pull her away from them. But at the same time, they're doing what they're doing because they are just amazing people, not because it's their responsibility. And not that it's technically our responsibility to care for her, but it is ours should her parents not be able to. So I just feel like it's time for us to be able to give them their lives back. They have lots of grandchildren of their own as well, and it's just time.
What have you thought about what your plans would be for Izzy if she were to come up there? I mean, would you stay home with her during the day? I don't remember from the ICPC if you work. Would you send her to childcare? What have you thought about that regard?
She would go to daycare. I do work. Excuse me.
It's okay. I do it too.
She's so used to being in that environment with other children. I think this is going to be a tough transition anyways initially, and we're well aware of that, but it's not in her best interest to stay home with me all day long. I'm gonna get boring after a while, truthfully, you know, to a 2-year-old, and I hope this doesn't come out wrong, but it's not in my best interest to stay home with her all day long either. I mean, you know, we all need that adult conversation too. I have a daycare already lined up. I've been in touch with them over the course of all of this. They still have an opening for her. They're just waiting for me to say go, and we have a room for her. When the ICPC was approved previously, we didn't know what that was going to look like. And I did not want to be surprised and have her come here and not have a place that felt like she belonged. So there's already a little girl's room, all pink and pretty and ready to go. And if she doesn't use it, I've got another granddaughter that'll think it's cool too. But,
And y'all are financially able to pay for childcare because Texas can't do anything up there.
yes, we are.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions, Ms. Felix? Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ms. Next witness, please.
No more witnesses, Judge.
Okay. Anybody have any witnesses? Okay. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to approve the ICPC, and I'm going to let Izzy go live with her grandparents in Ohio.
Sure.
I don't have a problem about the parents can FaceTime. I don't know if I really feel like I need to, you know, I hate setting visitation, and especially with Mr. Felix being out in the field, and I don't know his schedule, and sounds like he works some on the weekend. But then flip side, it's easier for, I don't know. Miss Felix, do you want a set time, or do you want to just be flexible with that?
I don't think there needs to be a set time. I just hope that they do make the effort, and, you know, that we can have some real good, positive, you know, face-to-face, you know, contact for Isabel.
Okay. Miss Mystic, you were shaking your head. What are you saying?
I was answering something from my husband. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I apologize. I'm really here, but he was asking me something. I do think App Close would be great.
Okay.
That way, Mr. Dennis can download those messages, and that's a great platform for them to communicate, and it's free. It's a parenting app. And
what's it called?
I'll text you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You and Kyle knows it, and Kristen, of course.
Okay. Parents are to FaceTime with Isabel no later than 6:30 p.m. Ohio time. I don't want it to be any later than that because she needs to bathe and go to bed. The parents, grandparents are to use the app Close to communicate. Y'all's lawyers will get with y'all on that. I already said this. Isabel moved to the paternal grandparents in Ohio. In-person visits are as arranged by placement, CPS, and ad items. I'm okay. I know it's an expense. I got that, but I'm okay if they wanted to have arrange a visit at one time a month. I'm okay with that. Visits need to be supervised by the placement. The parents don't need to stay in the Felix grandparents' home unless that's agreed by CPS and ad litem. The Felix grandparents are to keep a log of the phone calls, FaceTimes, whatever you want to call them, and of the visits, the length, the date, the times, and who participates in each of those. Mr. Mike Felix is to pay $300 per month child support beginning 2/1/24, payable to Miss Mystic and forwarded to the placement. I have no clue what his rank is or what guideline child support would be, but I think $300 is a good start. I think that will help the grandparents with some of the child care expenses, because I'm sure that's probably $600, $800. I don't even know how much child care is these days. It's a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's about $1,000 where she's going. And that's the going rate. I checked all of them a month, so $240 a week for full time. Yeah.
Well, Ms. Mystic, if you know, y'all want to look at rank, all that stuff, and get back with me on that, I'm happy to reconsider that, maybe just at the next hearing. But let's make sure that personal effects have not been provided greatly, but that's maybe they haven't been requested either. So let's think about that child support amount. Next hearing is 3/27. It's a permanency hearing because we are still in extension. Ms. Davenport, Mr. Felix have service plans. Y'all have to comply or your parental rights can be subject to termination. I think at the next hearing, we will order mediation because the trial is 5/15 in this case. Okay. Anybody? Yes. Yes,
Will,
ma'am.
will Isabel not come here until a certain date that goes with these court dates, or would she come prior to that?
Whenever y'all and CPS can work it out. If depending on weather, what's been crazy lately, whenever they can get on a plane, I'm good with it.
Okay.
I'm sure the department will be in touch with you and Ms. Hutchins to make that plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, well, thank y'all for coming. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Hold on. Your lawyer might not want you to say anything. Mr. Dennis?
That's fine if she wants to ask a question.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Davenport.
My question is, when CPS and Mrs. Felix and Ms. Hutchins gets a date for them to move Isabel, can I and Mr. Felix, or at least myself, get a visit before she goes?
I think you have a visit this weekend, don't you?
Yes, I do, but I don't think that's going to be happening this week.
Why?
No, I mean, not the visit. I mean, them moving her. I'm asking for an additional visit before my daughter leaves the state.
I think she's probably going to go early next week, I would imagine.
Okay, well then can I get an additional visit? That's what I'm asking.
Well, how long is your visit supposed to be over this weekend?
8 to 12. But also Mike is in the field, so he won't be able to see her. But I will at least like to see my daughter before she leaves state.
Well, why don't you either extend that visit or spend like Saturday night over and get a visit on Sunday also? Because I mean, she's probably going to go. I don't know. A department is probably going to go like Monday or Tuesday.
I think it just depends on the flights, Judge. I know there's been a lot of cancellations. We had some cancellations today, but Miss Simmons right now is driving back from Lubbock. So the earliest we could try to get something in is tomorrow to try to look for travel. But sometime next week, I'm thinking, yes, depending on weather.
Okay. Well, I think the best way to arrange that, Miss Davenport, is to let you just have a longer visit next weekend. This weekend? Sorry, this weekend. Yeah, this weekend.
Okay, then what about Mr. Felix? Because he's in the field, so you're basically saying he won't have. Okay.
He's going to have to figure it out. I mean, is he in the field 24/7 between now and next week, Monday or Tuesday of next week?
Yes, actually, he'll get off sometime Saturday. He will have Sunday off, and then supposed to go back either Sunday night all the way up to Tuesday, I believe. But it's the Army, so anything could change.
Okay. Well, and it's Texas and the weather and anything can change there too. So, and probably Ohio's the same way. Yeah, no, I mean, we need to get her moved. And, you said it right there. You said it's the Army, anything can change. I can't really, revolve we got to get plane flights and all that. And so we got to get that set.
Okay.
But
and then I know you also said that to at least have one in-person visit a month, correct?
Right. Y'all gonna have to go up there, but one or both of y'all can figure that out. Start looking get cheap plane flights.
Okay.
Miss Hutchins, if you will work with Miss Davenport and around y'all schedules this weekend to give her a little bit more time, or like I said, Sunday and Saturday, or Saturday and set it backwards, Saturday and Sunday, however y'all can work that out.
Yeah, I mean, we can do a regular visit on Saturday, and then if they want to come back on Sunday together, then they could both.
Or if Miss Davenport, I mean, it's kind of hard to travel back and forth with both. If they wanted to everybody just do it on Sunday, I think.
I think that's fine too. We go to church. We get home about 11:30 or 12:31, somewhere in there. Anytime after that, I mean, we would be good for the afternoon.
Because they could work that out on some drive, maybe. Okay. Yeah, Miss Davenport, I think y'all can get it worked out.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Excuse me? Did you say something?
I think it was a noise when she turned it off, like some background or something.
Okay. Okay, well, good luck and thank y'all. Y'all will be in recess.